The definitions of jurisprudence. Normative jurisprudence deals with the law as it ought to be. This meaning it is a primary sense focus on whether law is just and morality right, whether laws made by men to run their affairs conform to a sense of justice and moral purity. Further, these theories raise the issue whether a judge, in order to impart justice can go behind the letter of the law to the general principle of morality and justice. Debates of law and morality revolve around this question. The most important questions of normative jurisprudence are therefore these. These types of questions may be asked: what is the proper function of law? Is justice the main function? What sort of acts should be subject to punishment and what sort of punishment should be permitted? What is justice? What rights do we have? Is there duty to obey the law? What value has the value of law? The most influential works of normative jurisprudence include all the classes of political philosophy. Among the contemporary writers, the following have been particularly influenced: the John Rawls' Theory of Justice, H.L.A. Hart, Punishment and Responsibility, and Joe Fingers, The Moral Limits of the Criminal Law, Joe Spira, The Morality of Freedom, and Ronald Dworkin, A Matter of Principle. Jurisprudence are the general theory of law. A theory is an explanation that presents a complete picture of something. In its wider meaning today, jurisprudence is the science that deals with both analytical and normative jurisprudence. In this science, it is called the general theory of law. The meaning originated with the French, who approached jurisprudence in the sense of general theory of law. Therefore, general de root, and so do the American. This, for our purpose, both meaning the first and the second are relevant. The first meaning focuses on the analysis of legal concept, while the second highlights the importance of theories of law as well as non-formal sources of law by focusing on the nature of the judicial process. It is there for this reason that term legal philosophy is current in the United States in place of jurisprudence. The term legal philosophies greater emphasis on the theories of law and the theories of adjudication. Jurisprudence, in the sense of general theory, deals with all the questions we have listed above, analytical as well as normative jurisprudence. In short, it covers the total scope of jurisprudence, and it is in this meaning that jurisprudence is taught today in universities and law schools all over the world. Some the terms like a philosophical or ethical jurisprudence, systematic, historic, and critical are all included in the meaning of the general theory of law. It is important to note that the field of jurisprudence, the general theory of law, is so vast today that it is almost impossible for one writer to include everything in his writing. Accordingly, a writer may focus on theories of law, the process of adjudication law, and morality rights, some other aspect. Perhaps the British thinker Jeremy Bentham was the only one who covered most of the areas. Jurisprudence, as stated in today's view, is a general theory of law. What is the format or structures of this theory? The best format for the study of jurisprudence has been provided by Ronald Dworkin as a general theory of law. Little that is obviously influenced by the second meaning of jurisprudence given above. Dworkin describes the structures of a general theory of law in his Taking Rights Seriously. This has been amended slightly for our purpose, but is described below in Dworkin's own words. As a general theory of law says, Dworkin must be normative as well as conceptual. The conceptual part should deal with the law as it is, while the normative part should deal with the law as ought to be. It is the normative part must have theory of legislation, a theory of adjudication, and a theory of compliances. These three theories look at the normative part of the law as it ought to be, from the standpoint of the lawmaker, the judge, and the ordinary citizen. The theory of legislation must contain the theory of legitimacy, which describes the circumstances under which a particular person or group of persons is entitled to make a law. It should also contain a theory of legislative justice, which describe the law they are entitled or obliged to make. The theory of adjudication must contain a theory of controversy, which set out the standard the judge should use to decide hard cases at law. It should also contain a theory of jurisdiction, which explain why judges rather than other groups or institutions should make the decision required by the theory of controversy. The theory of compliance must contrast and discuss two roles. It must contain a theory of differences, which discuss the nature and limits of citizen duty to obey the law in different forms of state and under the different circumstances. It should also contain the theory of enforcement, which identifies the goals of enforcement and punishment and describe how officials should respond to different kinds of crime or fault. Categories describe abu or not water Nile, comparament and subject describe in one may fall in another. A general theory of law will have many connection with other department of philosophy. The normative part of the general theory will be embedded in a more general political and moral philosophy, which may in turn depend upon philosophy the worries about human nature and morality. Conceptual part will draw up the philosophy of language and upon logic. We are indebted to Devarkan for providing such a clear picture of general theory of law. To expand this general format, and we add in the present century, there has been the revival of natural law. This has led to what's called the value-oriented jurisprudence. Values are seen in the shape of interests that need to be secured by the security. These are national and society safety, sanctity of the person, sanctity of property, social welfare, equality, consistency and validity to rules, principles, doctrine and tradition, morality, administrative convenience, and international community. Each a dispute or issue seen as a clash between two or more interests, and the decision involves the preference of one interest over the other. This is achieved through the concept of justice prevalent in society. In other words, these values provide the highest general principle, which also be considered as part of law. For Devarkan himself, the judge enforces rights, and these rights lie outside the ambit of the law. So to say, his ideas are to be viewed in the context of what is called Devarkan rights of thesis.